2026 is going to be the first full year of the Switch 2, and right now it honestly feels like we're standing in the dark. Nintendo has been weirdly quiet about what's next, and outside of Splatoon Raiders and Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, which is also coming to the original Switch, we don't know what else is on the horizon. And that's unusual for Nintendo, because by now we usually have at least a roadmap, but this time nothing. That silence makes the Nintendo Direct feel huge. I mean, we'll probably get the answers in just a few days, but before that happens, I want to talk about what we already know and what games I really think will happen in 2026. Let's start with the two confirmed games, and the first one is Splatoon Raiders. For the first time, Splatoon is getting a fully story-driven game where the campaign isn't just a side thing to the competitive multiplayer. The Splatoon campaigns have been fun, but haven't been very fleshed out. But for the first time, we may actually get some more in-depth lore, more complex missions, and also have some fan-favorite characters return. Personally, I'm really excited for this because I want to learn more about the mysterious universe of Splatoon. It's going to be fun to just explore the different islands and see what they all have to offer. Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. Now this one might seem like a smaller title, but I think it could quietly be one of Nintendo's smartest moves. People have been begging for a new Tomodachi Life since the 3DS days, including me since this is one of my favorite 3DS games. This feels like Nintendo testing the waters, like they're releasing it on both Switch systems, which tells me that they want to see how much demand there really is. If this blows up, I would expect the next Tomodachi Life to maybe be a full Switch 2 exclusive, or maybe that's saved for another generation. But what excites me here is the potential. The original game thrived on its bizarre humor and random interactions, but with modern hardware they could push it much further. Imagine bigger and more detailed islands, concerts that feel like music videos, a more alive island, and even online features where your friends' Miis can visit your town, at least in a more complex way outside of just sending travelers through Street Pass. I'm getting this on launch day, no question. Now for the games I'm speculating, I think we're going to get a new 3D Mario. This almost feels inevitable. I know we're not going to get one this year because of Donkey Kong Bonanza. It would make no sense to have those released so close. But I think maybe November next year, sometime late next year, we're going to get a new 3D Mario. Every Nintendo system gets its defining Mario game, and the Switch 2 doesn't have one yet. Odyssey came out in 2017, which means by 2026, it'll be nearly a decade since Mario's last big 3D adventure. And I'm not counting Bowser's Fury because it's not a full 3D game. So the question is, what is it going to be? Do we get Odyssey 2, a sequel that builds on the capture mechanic and expands the sandbox kingdoms? Do we go back to the Galaxy style of more linear but visually stunning levels? Or does Nintendo take a completely new swing with something nobody's even predicting? If I had to guess, I think Odyssey 2 is the safest bet. Nintendo knows how much people loved it, and the capture system still has so much untapped potential. But whatever form it takes, this is going to be the showcase for the Switch 2, and this is going to be one of the games that sells the system. And then if we do get Odyssey 2, I know someone's probably commenting saying Donkey Kong Bonanza's Odyssey 2. And yeah, it shares the same team and it is very similar, but Mario games will always just sell a ridiculous amount, so I think either it's going to be Odyssey 2, which will probably also take some things from Bonanza as well, or it's going to be something completely new. Alright, next up I want to talk about Zelda, specifically remasters and remakes. On the Switch, we got the Link's Awakening remake in 2019, then we got a Skyward Sword remaster a couple of years later. Just last year, we even got a new 2D game with Echoes of Wisdom, which used the same art style as the Link's Awakening remake. Now, we haven't actually gotten a remake or remaster since 2021, so with Zelda's 40th anniversary next year, I think it's a perfect time to remake the Oracle games. Oracle of Ages and Seasons are two of the most beloved handheld Zeldas, but they've been stuck on the Game Boy Color since 2001. A remake in the same style as Link's Awakening would fit perfectly for the Switch 2, and honestly, it's overdue. But I think Nintendo could go even further this time. The Oracle games were designed to connect together. Finishing one unlocks special content in the other, and it would be a given to include both games remade with the extra content after beating both. Unless Nintendo really wants to get greedy and charge you $80 for each. Anyway, let's not forget the nostalgia factor. For longtime fans, this would be huge. For new players, it's an accessible Zelda that isn't as overwhelming as a 100-hour epic adventure. The Switch 2 is going to need games like that in its early years, so I think it's very likely we get this, or maybe even Minish Cap. Next up, let's talk about Mario RPGs. The Super Mario RPG remake on Switch showed people still love this game, and it reminded a lot of people why Mario RPGs were so special in the first place. We then got a Thousand Year Door remake in 2024, and a new Mario & Luigi game for the first time in 9 years, so Nintendo has been doing a lot with Mario's turn-based adventures. Now this could go one of two ways. We either get a sequel to Super Mario RPG itself, something fans have been begging for since the SNES, or we finally get a Paper Mario game that goes back to its roots. I'm talking about partners, badges, an actual story, unique characters, not what we've been getting in the last 3 Paper Mario games where it's just Toads, Koopa Troopas, Goombas, no XP. I think the TDYD remake showed that people really want this to return. Or you know what, Super Paper Mario 2 would be really cool as well. If I had to put money on it though, I'd say Nintendo leans towards Paper Mario because that is still an active brand for them. But whichever way they go, I think they'll build off the nostalgia wave from the remake. Also, the last Paper Mario game came out over 5 years ago, and Nintendo has never went longer than that without a new Paper Mario game, so it is long overdue. And by new Paper Mario game, I mean just a brand new adventure that was Origami King, not the TTYD remake. A brand new Pokemon generation. This is something we can't forget because this one almost feels guaranteed. By 2026, Scarlet and Violet will be 4 years old, and that's exactly when Game Freak usually moves on to the next generation. And on top of that, 2026 marks the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. Really think they're gonna let that milestone pass without something massive? There's just no way. This is where the Switch 2 comes in. For the first time, Game Freak has hardware that's not only more powerful than the Switch, but can also handle open world design much better. Scarlet and Violet had the right ideas, but were clearly held back by the system. On the Switch 2, we could finally see a Pokemon world that feels more alive, polished, and actually runs smoothly. Like, yeah, I know the Switch has some pretty big open worlds, like Tears of the Kingdom is the obvious one, but it can run pretty rough on the Switch at times. So I think this would be a good opportunity to take advantage of the Switch 2's hardware. So I'm picturing bigger cities with real NPC activity, seamless transitions between biomes, Pokemon that behave differently depending on the environment, and co-op exploration that actually is worth doing. And with the anniversary, they could go all out with callbacks. Maybe the new region is inspired by a location that ties into past generations, maybe they bring a few fan-favorite mechanics like the Battle Frontier or Mega Evolutions. Either way, a new generation of Pokemon is basically a lock for at least 2027, and I think 2026 is likely. This is the kind of thing that would sell the system to someone who might be on the fence about it. Another series that feels almost certain to show up in 2026 is Fire Emblem. The series has been on a roll since Awakening revived it back in 2012, and Nintendo has built a nice rhythm of alternating between brand new entries and remakes of older ones. Engage came out in 2023, so if history repeats, we're due for a remake. The most likely candidate is Genealogy of the Holy War. It's one of the most beloved games in the series, but it's never had an official release outside of Japan. A modern remake on the Switch 2 would finally bring it to the global audience it deserves. Also, this isn't just about accessibility, it's about scale. Genealogy is famous for its maps and its unique generational system, where the children of your unit takes over in the second half of the game. Imagine that kind of ambition running on new hardware with larger armies, smoother animations, cutscenes with fully voiced dialogue. Fire Emblem could finally feel a lot more epic. Plus, strategy games always benefit from clean visuals and sharp UI, which the Switch 2 can easily deliver. And the last thing I want to talk about is a new Mario sports game, specifically Mario Super Sluggers 2. Nintendo almost always keeps these in rotation, and while we've had new entries for golf, tennis, and the return of Mario Strikers on the Switch, baseball has been missing for way too long. The last full Mario baseball game was Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii back in 2008. That's 17 years without a sequel. Like, I wasn't even in kindergarten yet when this game came out, and there's been no full game since. I mean, there's been the baseball mode in Mario Sports Superstars, but that's not close to being the same thing. The timing feels right for a comeback. Like, imagine a brand new Mario baseball game on the Switch 2, with a massive roster, online play, stadiums full of interactive gimmicks, add in tournaments, seasons, maybe even something like Diamond Dynasty and MLB The Show where you can build your own team, and it could be one of the most chaotic, fun multiplayer games on the system. Nintendo knows how nostalgic people are for the series, and if they really want to round out the Switch 2's lineup, bringing baseball back feels like a home run. Pun intended. I also think that they might bring back like another tennis or golf game, even though we got games in the past couple years, just because we do typically get one per generation. It's very rare for there to not be a Mario sports game within the first year of the system, so I think this is incredibly likely. And those are just some predictions I have. Obviously, a couple of these are confirmed for 2026, and the others are just speculation. I do hope we'll find out in the Direct next week, so stay tuned to find out more about that when it happens. And also check out my other content, because I've been talking about Mario's 40th anniversary, as well as other things that we could see in the Nintendo Direct. If you made it this far in the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and this has been Domain with Game Domain.